The next part is what I'll call the dump bucket, like the back dump truck type bucket. It's going to be a shelled component with walls, and it's got fillets on it. It's got those pegs on the bottom as well. So in a new part, I'll start with a block that will represent the basic shape of it. So I'll start creating a 2D sketch. Similar as before, I'm going to constrain it to the center of the line for the origin. So I'll first draw the overall shape, which is 1.94 and 1.9. I will coincident constrain center line there to the middle, and extrude it up to a height of 1.41. Then I'll add some fillets I need before I use the shell tool. A fillet on what is the lower edge of the front of 0.18, and also the sides here and the bottom corners here. Then I'll use the shell tool, removing the top. A thickness of 0.10 of 1 is correct. Then I have to cut off a portion of the back here. So to do that, I'll create a sketch back here. I'll project the geometry of those inside lines, represent the thickness of the wall. I need just one line across here, which I can dimension as being measured 0.785 from the bottom. And now I can extrude just this section with a cut to the next piece it finds, which is just through the first wall. And I have that cut out. The back edges of the bucket have a round over to them of 0.385, so I'll fillet both of those. Then I need to add the posts on the bottom. So I'll create a new sketch on the bottom. The posts have some detail to them. They are circles, circular pegs with little nubs along the side for the interference press fit to keep it together. So I'll start with a circle, and I'll horizontally constrain it so that it's aligned in the middle. Then I'll dimension that as being 0.175. The distance from the end I measured at being 0.478. And then there are 5 little nubs that stick out around the perimeter of the peg. So I will place those at the points of a pentagon. So I'm going to use the polygon tool. I'm going to do a 5-pointed polygon, 5-sided polygon that's inscribed because I want it to touch the edges of the circle. And I want to make it as construction lines. So I'll choose the center of my circle, and then I'll choose the tip here. I will make sure that stays constrained by using a horizontal constraint on the tip to the origin. I'm going to place circles at our 0.03 at each of the vertices. Now one last, go back and add sketch. One last thing before I finish the sketch is I'm going to place a point for where the other peg is. However, I'm not going to redo all of the geometry because I don't need to. I'm simply going to use a pattern later on. Oh. Now I'm going to extrude that. I'll have to do it in a couple of different extrusions. So I'll start with an extrusion of just a center point, and that's going to go up a distance of 0.275. There is going to be a chamfer on that edge. I'm going to chamfer that edge at 0.04. And then I'm going to go back to that extrusion, make that sketch visible, and make another extrusion, this time with the pegs, or the nubs for the peg. Select all 5 of those. Those I only want them to go up the height of the non-chamfered part of the peg. And that distance would be the 0.275 minus the chamfer of 0.04. That's my peg. I can hide that sketch. Now I need 2 pegs. But instead of remodeling and re-extruding a second one, I can simply use this one and duplicate it. It actually is duplicated in the same orientation, just 1 inch over, because that's how far the holes are apart on the model. So I'll use this rectangular pattern tool for that. I'll choose these features, which is actually 3 features. The first extrusion, chamfer, and the second extrusion. The direction, I want to go along the length here, so I'll click just an edge. It's going that way, so I'll flip it to go the other direction. I only want 2 of them 1 inch apart. I press OK. And now I have both of my pegs modeled. The entire part is modeled. To finish it up, I'll choose an appropriate material color. And save it. And then I can add it into my assembly right away. So I'll place the bucket into my assembly. I can use an insert constraint, choosing a part of the circle that where the peg meets the bottom of the bucket, and choosing the hole where it goes. And then to make it a little bit easier to constrain, I'm just going to turn it here so I can see the peg and the hole at the same time. I'll choose the peg at the bottom and the hole. And I've got my bucket attached to my assembly.